Hey, brand babies. This is the Brandma's House podcast with your host, the ghetto country brandmother. In Brandma's House, it's all about the business of one. It's a place where shiny object chasing solopreneurs who want a scalable brand can find some love. She's dedicated to nurturing them so they become brand leaders instead of being stuck as a brand. So come on in and hold on to your bourbon because Brandma is about to spill the tea.
Hey, Brand Babies, it's your ghetto country grandmother, and I am here today to talk to my guest, Shoaib. I'm trying to get that right. Yes, he is my house guest today, and we're going to talk about some shit because y'all know it's all about Ask Brandma anything. If you have any questions, we might even just run off on a tangent because we both got shiny object syndrome, and we okay with that. I'm going to let Shoaib introduce himself and tell you what he wants you to know. All right? So, Shoaib, come on with it.
So, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, so I was a dessert shop owner and I turned digital marketer because what I felt was what I did in my dessert shop really started to increase my income. And when I went to the different restaurants and dessert shops, they were having similar problem as me in terms of marketing. And a lot of big companies, what they were doing, selling them a system which was relatively cheap. But if you see add everything up at the end of the year, it was way more expensive and nothing was working together. So what I wanted to do was build one system and one strategy that would combine all of the system and really start to increase um, their income. And I feel the the most essential part is marketing. So that's why I sold my restaurant or dessert shop and then become full-time digital marketer.
Okay, all right. So, y'all, that's something we have in common. I used to have 2 restaurants as well. So this might be a restaurant conversation for real because y'all be doing some raggedy shit. I'm just gonna call it what it is, y'all. Y'all, I'm just saying. And I say that because my husband was the cook of our restaurant. He's a pit master and all that kind of stuff. And there's a level of arrogance. And everybody should like my food. If it goes down that road, I'm just forewarning y'all. This might be a restaurant conversation. We were talking earlier, and Shoaib was saying that, like, how do you what did you ask me? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Oh yeah. So one of the things I have problem with is coming out with the content for the restaurant owners because we're good at when we are in the restaurant in terms of that building that content and stuff. But now since a digital marketer, I'm I'm very good at helping restaurant coming with that content. But now, what is the content that's gonna resonate with the restaurant owner to bring them to me for helping them as a digital marketer?
So you want to attract more restaurant owners to your services. And I don't Shoaib, put your because y'all be on Zoom. Shoaib, put your link to your site in here and I want to see what it looks like. And then also I want to look at your social media because a lot of times, and like I said, seriously, restaurant owners, because they all fall into that trap of um thin profit margins and all of that kind of stuff, there's something there that they don't want to spend the money to invest because they have the overhead, they have the wages, the cost of goods sold. There's all these different things that they spend money on, so they're very reluctant to invest in something like this. They will go out and buy a full page ad and do some advertising, but that's not the same as marketing, sweeties. That is not. And what Shoaib does is so much different than just putting an ad in the paper. So I want you guys to understand that. So give me a second while I go and look at Shoaib's site. Hold on, he put it in the thing for me. Let's see. Okay. I'm looking at your website and attract, retain, automate. So you're talking about this from a marketing perspective and you're trying to create content. What is your core message to your clients? What is the core message that you have for your business and just in general?
So what just bring them more so attract more customer, of course. So really increasing their you know clientele, and then retaining the retention is where the restaurants make more money. So
Mhm.
really building their loyalty customers bringing them back. So making the list of the customer that the best customer, really bringing that CRM, and then do marketing to them and bring the same type of customer more. So um, let's say, one of your customers comes 3 times a week, right? And so we take that list and through the data and how we do this is by, this is going to get a little bit technical. So just to get you guys,
Come on with it.
yeah. So how we do that is through Wi-Fi marketing. So once we have them in the system, we track that through Wi-Fi, the ping of the Wi-Fi, and we build a database of similar customers, and then we bring those other customer, we advertise to them, which brings their advertisement cost down, and it brings more customer like that that can, can spend the money in the restaurant, would come 3 times a week or 4 times a week. I had somebody that was coming like, almost 5 times a week. So we build that database, and this is your data, the first data. So again, this is a little bit technical, but the main point is really bringing them there and see what they're doing and how we can bring the same customer, uh, more customer like that, the
Hmm.
same customer again and again.
Okay. Now here's the thing. All of that, what you just told me is great. But what I asked you was, what was your core message? I didn't ask you what you do. I asked you, what
Mm,
was your core message? And so that's part of probably why it's getting lost in the sauce, because
mhm,
there needs to be a core message there. Your core message is built off of your positioning and is
mhm,
built off of the DNA of your brand.
mm,
And being able to put out content around that core message is what attracts. Telling them that this is what we do, that's great. They need to
mhm,
know that. But
mhm,
when you're creating marketing, when you're trying to have that attractiveness,
mhm,
it needs to show up differently and it comes from creating content based on a core message. It's
mhm,
like I can say my core message is to help shiny object chasing solopreneurs build
mhm,
scalable brands. And so there's a core message behind that, because I know that this is what this is based on. And
mhm,
this is how I position myself.
mhm,
So having a message around, shiny object syndromes, and finding all kind of topics around that.
mhm,
If we know that within the restaurant industry, like I said,
mhm,
because a lot of it is based around the cook, a lot of it is based around high turnover and all of those type of things. One of the things I think the restaurant industry needs, they need more internal branding as well as external branding. And so if you're putting out marketing for a restaurant, it needs to relate to both, because a lot of restaurants, they get ghosted on when they try and hire. It's like you said, all these appointments, but nobody shows up.
mhm,
That's because you may have a restaurant concept, you may be offering $20 an hour, but I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know if I want to work here,
mhm,
because restaurants are known for having toxic environments.
mhm,
How can you build a brand that says this is not a toxic place to work and then put that into marketing?
mhm,
So that's that. So if you're telling me that this is a marketing thing, but why do you want to market restaurants? We both understand the struggle from a personal perspective.
mhm,
So this your part of your core message comes from that. Creating content around, I understand the struggle of what it means to build out this restaurant. I understand the struggle of having thin profit margins. That should
mhm,
not be. If you cannot afford me, then maybe you need to raise your prices.
mhm,
And that is a definite thing within the restaurant industry. Yes, I
mhm,
see prices going up, but I see prices going up because food costs are going up.
mhm.
And so you creating that attractiveness in that content that you put out has to come from a core message, not about CRM, not about automation, but from a core message that you have within your business and your own brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does actually. We have to think from their point of view. Is that what you really saying? And in
It's
terms of
no, it's not about their point of view. It's
awesome.
not, and this is me talking. This is not all the other brand strategists,
Right.
folks out there that I love and respect. But when you talk about your own brand, when we're
Mhm.
talking about, let me see, when we're talking about, is your company your hold on, what's the name of your company? Hold on, I have
Digital market hero.
okay, Digital Market Hero. That's the name of your company.
Mhm,
Okay, that says nothing about. I see your symbol here. It has a knife and fork there,
mhm.
but digital mark. Okay, it says Market
Market
Hero.
hero. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you tie a core message around that that's specific to and relatable to restaurant owners? Because looking at this and looking at your website, I love the restaurant pictures, but
Mhm.
the message isn't very clear that I'm here for you.
Mm,
You know what I mean? It's like, let's
mhm,
make sure your customers come back again and again.
mhm,
Okay. I need you to give me a little more feeling in that. The message
mhm,
needs to be clear. So it's like, I believe that restaurant industry or however that message could be a bit more concise and a bit more heartfelt.
mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Tell me this. Now, this could be
Okay.
like, this just comes top of my mind right now. It's
Okay.
like, because what if it, because in my first year, I struggled. So it's all about restaurant growth because I
Mhm.
know how it feels when you work all day in restaurant and your bank balance doesn't go up. Something like that. Is that what you're saying? Because in my first 2 years, that's what I struggled with, right? I was
Mhm.
there all day. I was in the business
Yeah.
and I was working and I didn't really care about marketing that much, even though I was naturally good at it, right? So it helped certain
Okay.
places, right? But I was there all day, and I was working all day, and it was just roller coaster in terms of
Yes.
the income,
Yeah.
right? And I didn't have loyalty of the customers as I wanted it. But then when I started to build those systems and all that stuff, that's how I got those, right? And so that's what I'm trying to build, same thing for them. And now
Okay.
as a marketer, right? As a marketer, it's I don't know how to relate to them on that side because
What you just
even if
said right there,
Mhm,
and I don't mean to
mhm,
cut you off, but what you just said right there is that you're trying to give them back time of not being in their business so much.
mhm,
And that's what automation does. You got to get to that core of, you know what, we, especially in the restaurant industry. And like I said, I was there with you,
mhm,
but understanding that a lot of what is missing, a lot of owners, if they don't put themselves on the payroll, they will never get paid from their business, especially in the restaurant industry.
yeah.
So being able to create an automation that allows you to save some time and money and
Mhm,
have a personal life, that's
mhm,
what you can speak to. That's what that
mhm,
automation is about. But to understand it from the to understand it from the perspective of the restaurant owner, like I said, you've been in those shoes. You've done the long, what, 12, 18-hour days. Being the cook, the dishwasher, the janitor, and all the things. You're wearing all the hats.
mhm,
But and then you also have to take the orders. Restaurants are, especially independent restaurants, they try to copy the big franchises and all of these fine dining establishments and all that. Fine dining doesn't do delivery, not unless they're really struggling. But most fine dining restaurants, they don't do delivery shit. They're not on Grubhub and WhatsApp and not WhatsApp, but Grubhub and I can't remember the name of the rest of them, or DoorDash or anything like
yeah,
that. But then there's but that's what people tell them that they have to do as restaurant owners. They tell them that they have to give out coupons. They have to give out taste. Well, depending on where you are, giving out taste and samples and all of that kind of stuff because that's what the bigger companies do. Because you're basing your brand around well, you don't have a brand, you have a concept. And because everything has to have a special, you have to have uh, um, a coupon in a magazine or wherever you put your coupon, because the digital webs the third party apps are taking a cut out of your they're taking a cut out of your profits. They're telling you you can't raise your prices to cover their fee, and so you go deeper in the hole. And it's like, how can we put some of that money back to you and also give you some time back? That's what this is about. It's not about the customers coming back again and again. This is about you going home and getting a good night's sleep.
like that. I love that actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the end of the I didn't think it that way, right? I mean, even though that's what we're doing, at the end of the day, that's different point of view that you're seeing, and that uh, I should have seen that coming. Right? I mean, like as a restaurant owner, I should see that coming.
Mhm.
But when you're trying to do something else, like for example, even as a restaurant, when you're trying to do something, your point of view is just straight looking at no, you have to
Mhm.
do this, right?
Yeah.
And then so even the expert in digital marketing or anything, you would have that moment. You have to talk to other people to
Mhm.
see that point of view. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing because like I said, the restaurant industry, especially independent and mom and pop restaurants and all that kind of stuff, even if you have a restaurant that has investors, A lot of them are built around a concept. And that's why we saw so many of them fold during the pandemic. And that is truly what finished pushing me into this whole brand strategy thing.
Mhm.
I did want to focus on restaurants once upon a time, but them motherfuckers didn't want to pay me. It's like, we ain't got no money. And I get it because I've been there and I understand it. That did not stop me from wanting to help them, but I'm not helping for free.
Mhm.
Sweetie, I understand the struggle. So you being that person that understands the struggle, that your pay should be structured around addressing that.
Mhm.
It's the struggle of working in your business and not on your business.
Mhm.
So automation gives you the freedom to work on your business, be with your family, and some other things.
Mhm.
Go back to surfing. You probably gave up surfing. You gave up knitting. You gave up being able to read your kids a bedtime story.
Mhm.
There's all these emotional attachments to working in your business. It's
Mhm.
like, don't you want to have a life again? Everybody's not like me. I love what I do. So hell, my husband like, baby, come on, close the computer. Let's go. Okay. Can I take it with me? No.
That's totally true because, especially my first 2 years, I love to travel, by the way. So in that 2 years, I was stuck at that place. Like, I love the business and I love the restaurant thing,
Mhm.
everything. I loved it, doing the custom. But at the end of the day, I was like, and, my wife was like, "We wanna go somewhere to, like," we recently went to Turkey, and with this business, right? It's so easy for me to, like, go over there, but when my first 2 years in the restaurant, it was so hard until I didn't build that system because I was 18 hours, 16 hours just there
Yeah.
sometime by myself and more and then even with the employees, I was in there, right? Because there was nothing automated or nothing was like, the training wasn't right either, you know. So I totally relate to that thing where we're doing that. Yeah.
You hear it now. And so there's just the way when a lot of times when people come to you for your services, they're coming with money in hand. And so they want to get as much bang for their buck as they can. And usually those are the people that we're going after. And
Mhm.
and I don't know if you know understand brand salience, but I'm not even gonna go down that road. But if somebody's coming to you with money in hand, that means they're price shopping.
Mhm.
But if you turn around and start creating content around, you know what? You don't even recognize this as a problem.
Mhm.
And once you start pointing out the different things that go along with this, then you're not marketing to people who already know that they have a problem. You're
Mhm.
marketing to people like, "Oh, let me fix my shit before cuz I didn't know I had one."
Mhm.
It's just like if you figure you're making 100,000 a year.
Mhm.
You good, you stable, I'm making my money, I'm great. But you don't see the problem with why aren't you making 150?
Mhm.
And so if you show them how they're missing out on that extra 50 grand a year, it's like, oh shit, let me go pay him so he can tell me how to get this other 50 grand.
Mhm.
And it makes a difference. Instead of waiting for somebody like, okay, I think I want to grow and scale. Who's gonna give me the most for my money? I'm looking for a bargain.
Mhm.
And so the way you do that, like I said, when's the last time you had a good night's sleep? When's the last time you were actually home before your kids went to bed? In the restaurant industry, that is a rarity. Are your kids sitting there next to you? Because my daughter was sitting next to us when we were in the restaurant
Mhm.
with her school books. How about that not be a thing? Let's not make that a new norm.
Yeah.
How about we stop passing out coupons?
It's funny. My parents, they were in the restaurant industry too, right? So I come from the restaurant industry. So
Hmm.
same thing. I was sitting with them,
There you
like,
go.
when I come from school, I would go to straight to their restaurant and I would sit and do my homework there too. And they would be like, all tired and all that stuff, but that's the only time we would, like, get to, like, I mean, other than, of course, when they come at night at home, but, before that whole day in the day, I would be sitting with them in the
Hmm.
restaurant and just doing the thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally. So question, when see certain I know about restaurant industry, but I'm not an expert on everything, right? So I'm expert in digital marketing because that's where I excel and that's what I enjoy. But when I'm coming up with content, so should I should be making the other content in terms of like, how you can retain the employees, how to have less turnover of your employees, or, certain way in terms of branding, even though I'm not as good as in branding, even with the restaurant, how you can make the branding better. Like I did learn from other people,
Yeah,
but not an expert. So should I be sharing those things that I
you
learned?
should. Because if you have certain people following you, you may be giving them information that you learned that's not necessarily relevant to what you do, but they
Mm,
still need to know.
yeah.
So, and like with me, I just finished a course in understanding marketing psychology. I don't want to be a marketing expert, but I have to explain to my clients when I'm telling you why you need to do what the fuck I said,
Mhm.
you need to understand that this affects your marketing. Your
Mm,
brand has to do a thing, it has to take action. And the
mm,
way it takes action is through its marketing. So
mhm,
if I tell you that, well, that's not going to work, let me tell you the psychology behind it.
mhm.
So if I can tell you what I've learned in this respect, then it makes a difference. Now you start like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense. Told you I knew what the fuck I was doing. Let me stop saying fuck.
That's too funny.
But there's even though you're not an expert in that thing, you're knowledgeable. And it's
Mhm,
like one of the things that I recognize is the whole shiny object syndrome. Okay, marketing is a shiny object for me, but I'm not trying to become that expert. But it still serves my client. You will not hear me put out anywhere in my marketing
mhm,
that, come to me for marketing.
mhm,
Just because I understand it and I'm knowledgeable, sweetie, that's not my bailiwick. That's not my thing. That's not my get down.
mhm,
Brand strategy is my get down. I don't even do the pretty shit.
mhm.
When I just finished my marketing planner, because I had to create a marketing planner for myself. I just happen to be so good at it that, you know what, let me sell this month. Yeah, I was about to say fuck again.
By the way, I don't mind. You can keep saying fuck.
I'm trying to rein in my fucks, but you know what? I give out too many.
I love it.
Um, but with my understanding, like I said, I created the planner. I created it back in 2020 for a client when I was doing more business coaching. And when I went back and I tried to use it myself, and it's like, yeah, I know more now. So this book took on its own different thing. I revamped it. I'm putting it back out there. But then I was trying to do the cover again. I don't know how to fucking do book covers, but I was gonna do it because you know what? I it's just what I do. I showed it to somebody who's a graphic artist, and shout out to my dude Vladimir. He did an amazing job. He did the cover for me because he saw what I did, and he's like, "Can I help you?" That's how bad my shit was. He was trying not to be insulting, but I own the fact that I don't do pretty shit. And what he did was so much better and it's just fucking amazing.
Mhm,
But I'm not a marketing expert, but I have enough to get your ass over the hump. And especially since I'm focusing on solopreneurs who need to have a basic understanding of marketing. So you just need to market enough until you can afford a marketing person when they come to you for their digital marketing. So being able to create that thing and give them that knowledge. Sweetie, I'm a digital marketing guru, and I hate the word guru, but I'm that person. That's what you're telling them.
mhm,
But in the meantime and in between time, let me share some other stuff with you that you need to know as a restaurant owner. If your kids, you might give them some parenting advice because you grew up in that world.
mhm.
You know what? If your restaurant, if you don't have the time to spend with your kids, let's find some things that you can do around the restaurant that'll keep them entertained and engaged instead of just sitting there. Because a lot of times, you know what? There is no legacy to restaurants because the kids are so fucking mad at you for making them work in the restaurant and be at the restaurant all the time. It's like people that grew up in church. I'm in church 5 days a week. I'm going to church when I get older. So your kids end up hating the restaurant industry. But if you find a way to give them some guidance on that, how to cope, because you want to be able to get back to that time with your kids and not have it be at the restaurant table. So being able to give them something around that. And that is just a piece of advice. And this is how this works with marketing and making it relatable to that. Digital marketing as it relates to parenting. Digital marketing as it relates to whatever the thing is that you have for your client avatar. there's relatability there.
Yeah. And one more thing I see a lot of it, like the restaurant, I know a lot of restaurant owners think like, we can have all the customer we want, no matter what we're gonna serve, right? So how do we tell those customers, I mean, sorry, the restaurant owners that you gotta have a avatar there as well. It's not only for digital marketers. It's not only
Mhm.
for the professional businesses. It's for restaurant as well. How would I use that language, right? Their language, where because when I did it after 2 years, I was like, these are my core customers. I'm gonna go after them first, and then they're gonna bring me other customers. If other people are coming, I'm fine, right? But my
Mhm.
core customer is this, right? But now I know how to do that in terms of for myself in the restaurant, and I can do that same thing if I have the restaurant. But when I'm building a content, how do I speak to them? Give me some insight on that and like your thoughts
Okay. Do you know who your do you know who your core client is? Do you know who
in my digital marketing.
Yes. Who is your core
Um,
client?
So my core client is, or the people I want to work with is
Okay.
more of a medium. It's a medium luxury dessert shops that is selling experience rather than just product. So they already have the understanding the selling experience, right? So
Okay.
they're a little bit more luxury. And so that's what mine is. And I want to work with them in terms of how we can get, how we can build a system where we're bringing them more customer. Right?
Okay.
It's very, I don't know how to explain it right, but
Okay.
in my mind, it sounds a little bit different.
In my
But yeah,
head, I'm not so crazy.
so yeah, so they understand the already those things a little bit of they're not selling product, they're selling
An
experience. So
experience.
when yeah, but when people coming in, it's good in terms of
Now
presentation.
here's
You
the
are
here's the
bringing.
thing, Sadie. You
Mm-hmm.
said all of that, but you didn't give me anything specific. Like
Okay.
I can tell you, I know who my avatar is, but my clients aren't that. Most of my clients are female. I would
Mhm.
rather attract guys, but I don't. And
Okay.
that's just the thing. And that's going way back to my old school days. But that's not who I attract. I attract females, I attract coaches, I attract creatives and all of those type of lot.
Mhm.
But part of why I attract them is because I understand them. I tell people, mine are cooks, creatives, and coaches.
Mhm.
And wrapping all of them up in the audience of shiny object chasers, what does the shiny object chaser look like? And so now you have to recognize all that stuff that you just said. You're going after medium-sized business and da da da. Okay, who owns that business? You got to go and look at the
Mhm.
owners and find a common thread that comes through all of them. So if
Mhm.
it's common that most dessert owners are women, then you know you need to be talking to women. If you know that they're of a certain age, then you know this is the age bracket. And if part of what they do is if you're visiting these various places, if you know about them and they're
Mhm.
sharing stories, because a lot of people are getting very personal with their stories.
Mhm.
Okay, can you capitalize on some information from those stories that'll help you define your core avatar in a better way?
Love that.
Are you talking to people who are urban? Are you talking to people who are in destination places? There's more that you need to do to define that person. So when you're talking to them,
Mhm.
it's like if you just started a dessert shop and you have 2 children and da da da, you can be very specific in how you talk to them.
Mm.
In your website, in your messaging, because it hits a little different and it's a lot more personal because you understand them better.
It's so funny. This is what I did for restaurant when I was writing it down, right? And like I never did this for my digital marketing company.
Mhm.
So this is this is like you're just saying everything I did for restaurant, and I'm not doing same thing for
Mhm.
my digital marketing company. It sounds so similar.
Yeah,
From
and because a lot of people, when you get into marketing and branding and anything that's consumer related, people think business to business and business to consumer. They don't think human to human.
mm,
You're marketing to a human being.
yeah.
I don't care if it is medium size, it's luxury, it's premium or whatever. Who's the person sitting behind the desk that's going to write the fucking check?
Mm,
And what do those people have in common? Now, if there's certain things that they have that you don't like, then you probably gonna have to eat that one because that's where your money lies, and that's the money that you want.
Right. That's true.
Okay. But if there's something that this core audience has, then that is different. So there's three audience. There's your total available market, there's your reachable available market, and there's your available target market. And within that available target market is where your ideal client resides. And I call the available target market, that's your ATM. That's where the money resides. So even though there's like a global reach, there's a total available market of, let's just say that there's a total available market of the entire world. But because everybody in the entire world doesn't speak your language, you might speak 2 or 3 languages. But outside of those 2 or 3, we're gonna push them to the side. They're no longer a part of your total available market. So now we've gotten down to the reachable available market. So within those folks that you can reach, who is actually kind of checking for you? It's not the ones who are like in their first year. You want people who are in their second, third, or fourth year, and they're struggling a little bit because of the pandemic, because of the recession. So now you know that you're identifying your reachable market got a little smaller because you kicked out everybody that was less than 2 years old within their business.
Right.
So now you're reachable. Okay, so how can I get this down to my available target market? So now we squeeze it down a little more because we start kicking out other folks. Okay, this is my available target market. And within that, okay, who's my ideal client? It's the woman who's sitting behind the desk. She lives in the city. She may be her business may be on the main thoroughfare. They might be all downtown, or are you looking for people who are in neighborhoods?
So, for me, I'm looking more in the downtown area.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if
downtown.
they're in the downtown area, you know they're paying high rents.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you know that could excuse me, that could be something that you address. Part of what automation does when you're in a high rent area,
Mhm.
of owning your restaurant in a high rent area, so they can understand it. Yes, my rent is fucking high. How can you help me?
Mm.
That hits different. When you look at the neighbors that they have, are you the only restaurant within this downtown area? So now you have what's the foot traffic? There's all these different things that you can start to look at. Okay, if you're one place, like if you're just a strictly say cupcake place, but you know the restaurant across the street serves desserts as well, and they have cupcakes on the menu because they're competing with you, what stuff can you do different that's going to say, you know what? Yes, but you have to go through all of this other shit instead of just coming in here and enjoying the cupcake. And so you begin to she recognizes that. I'm across the street from another restaurant.
Mhm.
She sees it out her window.
Yeah.
Is she stressing? Is she happy about it? Is she okay with it? Is she pissed off because they decided to sell cupcakes too? So you get to talk to her about that. Because one of the things a lot of people do, and you probably understand this from a marketing perspective, but when people put out content, they're putting it out for the masses. You only need to put it out for one person. And once you're better able to define that one person, that ideal client within that ATM, then that's the only person you got to make content for. What does she need to hear today? What does she need to understand, or he, or whoever your audience is? What do they need to focus in on? You want to stop thinking about your business for 5 minutes? Then let's take a trip. And you give them that 5 minute trip. Now, what if you can have more than 5 minutes? That's what automation does for you. It gives you more than 5 minutes a piece.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, you make it sound so easy. Everything is in my mind. All of this stuff you say, it just comes into my mind. But when I'm speaking, I'm like all confused and stuff. Like, because I think I'm just putting too much pressure on me,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe but I think that helped a lot. Where you're speaking to one person rather than the everybody. Because in the beginning, when I was started, and by the way, even being a digital marketer, I didn't like being on camera, and I started pushing myself a lot where I'm getting better. So one of the thing that was for me was like, when people gonna see it, what they're gonna think and all that. And I just imagine myself, I'm just talking to nobody gonna see this
Mm-hmm.
video. And so I got very okay with, low views and still getting those, in terms of, getting those people that I'm trying to attract. And one of my account was getting a lot of views. Like, I have two accounts right now. Like one
Mhm.
is actual Digital Market Heroes account, but I'm attracting so many people there that is not my audience. So there is no point over there, right? But then I made a new one where even though I'm not getting that many views, I'm starting to attract actual people that, gonna work with me and actually gonna
Mhm.
pay me, right?
Yep.
So that really helped in terms of, talking to one person,
Mhm.
and they're gonna bring same thing with my restaurant. What I did is like, I'm going after this one audience. They're gonna bring everybody, and that happened a lot with me where, I just went after, I marketed to one person, and then they would bring their friends and family, and there would be totally different people where that I'm not
Mhm.
going after,
Yeah.
and they would become my, regular. So
Yes.
I think I need to take the same formula from the restaurant industry and put it in the digital marketing and relate to
Yes.
more of a restaurant industry. So yeah, it helped a lot. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
And then the other thing you have to think about when you're putting content out there, it's what's the plan for them? Is
Mhm.
like, are they building this up? Are they marketing it so that they can franchise it? Are they marketing it because they want to open a second location? And that also depends on the avatar that you're going after. Are you going after the ones that want to be one and done? I just want to spot and I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. Or you know what? I want to open at least two more locations. And then once they have the two, it's like, okay, are we going to open any more? Are we doing different concepts? What is it? Because even
So
if you're doing different concepts, does the brand stay the same? And I'm not talking about the visual brand. I'm not talking about the
yeah,
bullshit brand. So when you start identifying that person based on these things and the clients that you want, it's like, I want someone who's hungry for opening other locations because
mhm,
then they might need you again.
exactly.
So you want to identify them as, you know what, they may have a spot downtown. When you have the conversation, do you plan on opening any others?
Mhm,
Will they be the same concept, the same setup? And so you kind of get a feel for where they are.
mhm,
And if you recognize that you want clients that don't want to be one and done, they want various locations, that speaks to your marketing as well. Is your marketing set up so that you can open that second location? Are you bringing in enough clients that you know what you can open that third spot?
mm,
Do you want to open up a third spot, hire a manager, and go take a fucking month off? So those are the type of things that you kind of get into the weeds with when you're putting out when you're putting out your website or when you're putting out your content. And it's not about showing, like I said, I'm so over people dancing and pointing. And this is just my own personal thing. But the dancing and pointing and showing me what you eat all the fucking time, sweetie, that doesn't speak to your business. That should be on your personal account.
exactly.
What I want to see here is like, you know what, give me something of value for my business. I know how to find the entertaining shit.
Mhm,
I want some value for my business. It's like one of the things when I was doing business coaching, I used to focus on couples in business because I understand the struggle of being married to your business partner. I create a whole sanity process around it. So there's that thing. So if you like, okay, do you own the business? Do you want that type of dynamic do you want to work with those type of clients? Does your spouse have input on your business? So you begin to identify these things. If you go look at all of the people that you want as clients, not at their business, you look at their business first, but then you get to the person behind the desk. What's some commonality with all these different human beings? Do they have, excuse me, do they have partners or do they not? Okay, so now you get to bring your relationship in because they brought theirs into the business. It's like, oh, your partner has, girl, yes, it is all the things. He be up and you get to have that conversation with them. If you know that the people that you're going after, like I said, if they want more than one location, if those are the people that you want, then part of your marketing has to be around how's that second location going? Still stuck? Are you not making enough money to make that happen? Or do you not have enough time to plan for that second location? It hits different.
it
So
does.
it's not about, like I said, looking at your site, it's not about the customers coming back again and again. Fuck the customers.
Mhm,
It's about you. I want to
mhm,
put you first in your business. I want you to have some time for you and your business. So speak to that. Bring that as part of the message.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. I haven't seen anybody doing that either. Like in
Mm,
terms of like talking to because my and I should have seen that coming. Where I made the website in terms of I looked at other people and I wanted to stand out a little bit, so I said let's make them come back again and again, right? So because every restaurant owner want to hear, we want more customer and all that stuff. But yeah, if while talking to you right now, I just realized all the website I saw, nobody really talking to the owner, actual owner
oh,
restaurant. Yeah, and that it does resonate with me because in terms of what I'm trying to work with is more the people who are a little bit more ambitious, right? They
mhm,
are more, they do want they want to be succeed in the restaurant industry. They want more locations, but they just stuck and they do want the time
mhm.
back in their life, right? Because I
Yeah.
went through the same thing. The third year was like I was like, how did I not do that before, right? And
Mhm,
like, and seeing my parents where they're not coming home, like they're working 18 hours or 16
yeah.
hours in restaurant. Um, even my grandparents, they owned a sweet shop too. And me seeing
Oh,
them
it's just in your
working all
blood.
day. Yeah. So it was just so I again, I resonate
Yeah.
with that because
Yeah.
understand and me directly speaking to them, I think that's gonna solve a lot of my problems in terms of like me rather than doing so much work, I just speak and I think they're gonna come. Of course, still have
Yeah.
to do hard work. That's not what I'm saying. It's just I think it's gonna be they're gonna come to me rather than me going to them. Because
Yeah.
right now, what I see as a pattern is yes, I go to them, and then they come to me in terms of the restaurant, then I would have a conversation, and then, it's a long process, which I don't mind, because that's what digital marketers are. We love talking, and I learn, and it gives me more content to talk about, more things to do, right? But then my goal at the end of the day is people coming to me as my brand because I'm the expert in certain things, right?
Yeah.
And which would be digital market, how to build that system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm looking at your other Instagram, the digital
Mhm,
marketing hero, 11,000 followers. Wonderful.
mhm,
And I'm looking at the photos, the food and all of that stuff. Love a good food photo. Oh, it's just food porn is my thing. But in the bio, it says nothing about you being a hero for restaurant owners.
mhm,
And so everybody that's landing on this is probably they're just there to suck up the information. It's free information. And it's
mhm.
not really attracting anybody, it's attracting everybody.
Right.
And so even though it's attracting everybody, it's not attracting the right somebodies because then trying to convert that on the call is hard. Well, I
Mhm.
see you have food photos, but I don't have no food and I want to do my business and I only got $100. What you gonna do for me? Get the fuck on.
That actually
Okay.
happened to me. That's very funny. I was like, I can't do anything for you.
Yeah, and see, and then restaurant owners are looking at this and they're not attracted to it. The
Mhm,
photos are beautiful, but they're not even gonna stop. They're not even gonna go look for you
mhm,
because they don't expect you to specialize in restaurants.
mhm,
So putting that in the bio, restaurant digital marketing,
mhm,
it that's even a little more specific, and I'm sure you can get even more specific than that.
mhm,
And it's with that understanding of like, you know what? Come look at me. Come
mhm,
pay attention because I'm here for you. I'm not here for the rest of these people. I know there are gonna be people that's gonna just suck up the free shit,
mhm,
but I'm talking to you.
mhm.
And then also you said you want people who are a bit more ambitious.
Yeah.
Speak to that ambition. That's
Mhm,
another part of your core message. I'm here for the ambitious people.
mhm,
And within the restaurant industry, there are certain groups that come together
mhm,
that invest in starting restaurants, but they normally build based on a concept, not on a brand.
mhm.
So it would hit a little different. But when you're trying to get to that person that sits behind the desk that wants to grow the business, who is that? Is that the CEO, the COO, or is that the CFO? Who's handling the part where we're getting ready to scale this thing? So you're marketing to that person. You don't have to market to all three, just that person because he's going to be the advocate for you in the room when you go to talk about the thing.
Mhm.
He's going to be, oh, I found this guy and he's great and he's one. We ain't got no money. The CFO is saying we ain't got the money for it. The CEO is like, I don't really want to think about it. I told you to handle that job. So he's the advocate in the room. So that's the person you're marketing to. You're not marketing to the business. He's the one that's going to champion you when they all saying, no, no, no. Fuck y'all. I'm the person that handles this. I'm hiring him.
Mhm.
So you want to get on his good side. So that's who you market to. So it's finding that individual who holds the power to hire you. In an independent business, it's the owner. But if it's in a company where everybody got a fucking opinion, who's the person that's always doing the stuff? Like even in our business, when we had our restaurants, and like you said, I understand the struggle.
Mhm.
Building what we built to the capacity that we built. When I started doing my own thing, I never really talked about that because I didn't see it as relevant to me.
Mhm.
But I'm the one that helped build a multi-million-dollar food business. That was me, along with my husband.
Mhm.
But I diminished my role in it because I wasn't the face of it. He was the one that was always out there, but I was the one looking at contracts. I'm the one getting making sure he got on TV. I was the one that was, you know what, baby, you need to go apply for this. I was that force behind this thing. So it was when I tried to diminish myself,
Mhm.
I had to recognize, sweetie, you was the other half of this multi-million-dollar thing.
Mhm.
But I hate bragging. And so I seldom tell people how much money we made when we had the restaurant because it's not relevant to me. And I don't want to promise anybody six figures, baby. If you want to promise a six figure, trust and believe your ass gonna have to work for it, not me. I'm gonna give you what I got. But if you don't activate it, your six figures not gonna come no matter how much I promise you. And you're gonna blame me.
Mm.
So and I don't know why I went off on that tangent. I don't know why. That was not even fucking relevant. But when you're out here, like I'm looking at the digital market, I keep want to say marketing, digital market hero.
Mhm.
Okay, what superhero role do you play in that? Who is Shoaib in all of this? When we talk about Shoaib's personal brand being in the room, I'm not bringing me in. I never walk to a room because Phyllis is very self conscious when she goes into a room.
Mhm.
I don't like being looked at. Yes, I'm 6'1". I'm not short. I'm not small. I hate drawing attention. But if I go in as a ghetto country grandmother, sweetie, I'm bringing all the sass. I'm bringing all the shit because I'm here about your business. I'm not here about me. My self-conscious attitude about whatever oh, your eyebrow is out of place. And oh my God, do you wore polka dots when you should have worn? Yeah, that would be my level of crazy. That's Phyllis crazy. Ghetto country grandmother, she got her game on point
Mm.
because it's not about me. And so when Shoaib shows up to these marketing meetings to pitch or sell or whatever you're doing, it's not Shoaib in the room. It's like, I'm your marketing hero. Let me tell you why. And you give them all of that love that they know that they didn't even know that they needed. And so it hits different. But when you're putting it out on your pages, when you're putting it out in your content, it's all about them. But when you walk into the room, it's still all about them, but it's not coming from you. It's coming from the personal brand and the persona that you've built around however you show up for your business.
I'm already thinking.
Akin did the same thing when I interviewed Akin. He's like, I said, you want me to end this call so you can go do some shit? He's like, yeah, yeah.
That's too funny. Yeah, I'm already thinking ideas. It's just my mind works faster than even when I'm speaking. My mind is going like 1,000 times more than what I'm speaking. That's why sometimes I'm going one place and then all of a sudden just take a 360 because my mind is all the way different place. So
And
yeah, very valuable, lesson I'm learning here, and I love it because like it's because it's like I'm trying to get in my because you did the restaurant, you run the restaurant too, and I did too. It's like I'm going in your mind and my mind at the same time, and now, but as more of a digital marketer rather than actual restaurant owners,
yeah,
and that's what I'm trying to speak to. And it's funny when you said like the competition and the people that who write the checks and stuff. I had those problems, right? So in terms of like this was very in the beginning where I did talk to people. They're like, oh, we cannot increase our sales because there's competition right next to us. Like, okay, be better. We can help you, certain thing. And then there was another people, um this guy, he was just a worker over there, and he loved it. He was a photographer, and he loved everything I was like bringing to table. But then, I got friends with him. I became friends with him. He was championing for me. But then the guy who writes the check, I never, met him. So I never got that deal. So
Yeah.
because I never went and spoke to him his language and stuff, I was
Yeah.
speaking as a photographer. He knew about digital marketing, so
Hmm.
he understood that if we do this, it's gonna help the restaurant. But
Yeah.
then owner never understood that, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I
Because
was speaking different languages.
what restaurant owners are taught, especially from restaurant consultants, the main thing they focus on is cutting costs.
Yeah,
And
which is
that is,
no, that's
yes,
bad
it
way to go.
is, oh my God, that is their main go-to. How can we cut costs?
Hmm.
But how about I cut advertising costs? Because if I have a good marketing strategy that is basically free to me if I use all my social media,
Hmm.
then how does that hit different? How do I
Exactly.
relate in that thing?
Mhm.
So is the most that they need to pay for advertising is paying you to set up their digital marketing. And
Exactly, and
so there's
that's
no
what
more
how I
giving out,
see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's no more giving out coupons. So
Hmm.
you're not discounting your menu. And what if we even said that with digital marketing, you can take some of these things off your menu
Hmm.
because you don't need all of this. You just need one good thing.
Yeah.
So we're cutting down on food cost because you don't have to buy that shit anymore because you don't have to have it on your menu.
It's very simple. I mean, like, I don't know if you've been to In-N-Out. It's mostly California thing, but like if you see it, they only have 5 things on their
On
menu.
their menu. Yeah.
Yeah, five
Yep.
things, and they sell like whenever you go there, it's like it's packed.
Yep.
It's packed, and you know, as a California, the people who are in California here, I'm gonna get in trouble. But In-N-Out is not as good as
It's fucking nasty. Imma get in
okay.
trouble with you. I do not like In-N-Out, no.
Okay.
So
So
all y'all haters,
I'm glad.
come
I'm
on
glad.
with it.
Yeah, I'm glad you.
No, I'm not
I
an
feel
In-N-Out
you feel
fan.
the same. Yeah. So, but we gotta give it to them, right? They
Yeah,
are always packed. They did bring, their social media is on point.
yeah.
Their branding is on point, and they know who they want, and people are going for it, and they're
And
always packed.
the other thing I respect about, and like I said, don't like their food, but I respect about it because it's still privately owned.
Yeah,
Is not
exactly.
franchised, it's not
Mhm.
corporate, it's none of that shit. It's owned by one woman. The
Exactly.
rest, her uncles and her dad are all gone.
Yeah. And it is still like, I mean, I don't know how many years it's been, but they still doing the same thing, and
The
it
same process.
works because, yeah, exactly. Because
And
they figured out this core thing that,
yeah.
the marketing and the thing. Cause like we can't say their product is the best because it's really not,
No, there
right?
are people that love In-N-Out, and that more power to you. I'm just not a fan of their food.
Yeah.
But I have mad respect for their game
Yeah.
because they do have that thing. They pay their people well, they offer benefits.
Hmm.
So it is doable. And it's
Exactly.
still privately owned. It does
Exactly.
not require a bunch of people coming in and invest. It's like when I used to get pissed off when all these franchise barbecue restaurants used to pop up. Y'all on this fucking gray ass meat. You don't care about the food. Being a pit master is a whole ass talent.
Yeah.
Trust and believe. I was leaned on it when my husband was doing barbecue competition.
Hmm.
There's so much love that goes into the process that gets left out. Once you turn it into a restaurant, then you have to find a way to be consistent and all. But I don't get me started on barbecue. But it's not the same.
Hmm.
And so being able to maintain that level of hospitality and all the things that go with good barbecue, there are very few restaurants that do it well. And so when you're talking about the process, within every restaurant, there should be a process to make life easier. Automation is just another process that makes life easier. But if you plan to scale and you plan to take some time off, sweetie, let's talk about how that affects you. What is the process for that? The marketing is not about a process, it's about a framework and it's about a plan. That's the difference. So you offering them that framework and that plan of being strategic is like, because what works this month might not work next month. So it's not about the process. It's about the framework. It's about repackaging what you're offering. It's about maybe you need to go seasonal instead of trying to be. You got 30 things on this menu. How much of it goes in the trash at the end of the night? How much do you have to give away? How much do you have to discount as day old? How about we pare this down and we find your shining star in this? Because if this is your main thing, if this was grandma's shit right here, grandma's gonna bring them in the door and then they'll buy the rest of it. Because once they're in here, oh, you should try this. This one was my favorite. We're testing this. And maybe you have a certain day that don't. I'm saying I'm about to go into some food shit.
I love it. I mean, I'm just getting all of those information and like that's helping me a lot. So keep going. I'm good.
But it's more than a notion, and I think restaurants need to change their tactics, especially smaller mom and pop and all that stuff. Corner hamburger stands are going to be around forever because everybody think they can serve a burger in a $5 breakfast plate with some fries and all of that kind of stuff. Pastrami fried. Tried to buy pastrami fries and soda, and it was $20. I was fucking mad. Oh my gosh! Like, and yeah, no. But if it was branded in such a way, I wouldn't have a problem paying the
Yeah,
$20. I really
exactly.
wouldn't.
And I rather, I mean, that's my job coming in and stuff like helping them. But the only thing is the only people I want to be, the only thing they should have when I want to work with them is a little bit of knowledge. Like they are ambitious to go there. They don't have to have it there. Like, but they are ambitious to go there and learn that, right? And do their self in terms of like, if I'm coming in, yes, I can take care of all of it stuff. But if you're not learning, you always gonna be like, dependent,
Yeah.
right? Once I leave, if not, if I don't like enjoy working with you and I leave, all of the work we done, that's
Yeah.
just gonna be undone because you never learned,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. I was like, I want to work with you, but I do want you to learn that stuff too. And and I don't look at it as where, that's gonna be less business for me. No, because if I train them and all that stuff, they're gonna talk about this to their friends, and their
Yeah.
friends gonna
Yeah.
come to me, and then, and so that's how I look at it because I love like the process that I'm doing. And to be honest, I'm still doing, I feel like I'm doing one thing that is bringing them customer is where I shine is where, first of all, two things, customer relationship. And then the other thing is that, through the software that I'm building and all that stuff, that's still my company's, right?
Yeah. That's
So,
still your
so
company.
automation, yeah. So that's where I feel most confident, right? All that other stuff is the bonus that I learned through what I did through in
Mhm.
my restaurant industry and through my parents and through me having my own restaurant and all that stuff. So, that's how I look at it too. So, yeah.
So then how about part of your brand be built around, you know what, how automation saved my life, how it's made me a better parent, how it made me a better partner within my marriage? You can speak to those things.
Mm,
This is what digital marketing does. The automated digital marketing made me a better
mhm.
husband. And tell them why.
Okay.
I was able to travel. My wife was happy. And that speaks to something personal. It's not just business,
Right.
but you're
Exactly.
bringing in the business aspect of it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's all these different things that we can attach to that is not about the business itself. Everybody is trying to sell somebody in business.
Yeah.
I just had there's a woman that I used to follow on my other when I was doing more writing. I had a Instagram Espresso Mischief. I still write under Espresso Mischief. Um, but I recently followed her on TikTok because I saw something on she posted something on Instagram and I saw it and I said, let me go follow her on TikTok. I followed her on TikTok and the first thing she did, she ain't like my shit. She followed me back, but she didn't like none of my shit. She didn't do nothing. Didn't she sent me, I new to TikTok. Are you a reader? Go check out my books. Bitch, are you serious? You never took the time to find out if I even read your genre of books. And the fact that we've been following each other on Instagram, I do my research. I'm sorry. Certain people follow me. I'm going to dig in your where you come from. How you find me? I'm just that fucking nosy. But that was your go-to. That was your go-to.
Yeah.
There was no finesse. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be very vulgar right now. It was a fucking run.
Mhm.
There was back in the day, growing up, there's what we call Mac Daddies.
Mhm.
Mac Daddies will make you drop your panties with a quickness because they know how to run that game. They got that Mac going on.
Mhm.
But when you got some crew that's dude, you want to fuck, that's what you're doing when you jump in people's DMs and don't even know who they are. You didn't even take the time to learn their name, look at their social media, try to engage. You want to fuck. What I feel like people are out here doing. And no Vaseline. Come on now.
So I loved how you put it, and yeah. So that is one of the cons of, I would say, automation too, right? And that's what I'm trying to, even with the restaurant industry, right? We're trying to change. We're not trying to sell people all of a sudden. We're trying to build a relationship, and it has to be on personal level, right? So for example, I mean, if customer gonna come to your restaurant, if you don't greet them, you don't, talk to them, you don't have a person that is on the front, like for example, the cashier, if they don't really provide you with the special, I mean, what's that word? Well, forget it. But if they don't welcome you like you're coming home, like home away from home. That's what I used
Yeah.
to tell, like in my
Yeah.
dessert. When you
Yeah.
coming home, they should feel like they're home away from home, right?
That part.
And so once they come in, you gotta greet them. You gotta treat them like a friend, and you gotta treat them like you know them forever, right? And
Yeah.
that's one of the thing that really brings the customer back too, even if your food is not good, right? But
Okay.
so these things, if we look at from the digital marketing part where, because I get like 50 to 60 messages per day, like, trying to sell me the things that are, hey, are you getting enough customers? I mean, sorry, are you getting enough appointments? Right. And here's my thing, here's my link, let's do this. Right. And I'm like, bro, you never looked at my thing, what I'm doing, which industry I'm in, right? Can you even serve the people that can get me that appointment? I've been in that, restaurant industry for a while. I know how it works. What is your thing, right? So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so that when you said that, like, soon as you followed her on TikTok, she sent you a message without even doing the thing. That's one of the drawback of automation if you do it wrong, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of you see that on LinkedIn, especially people are just DMing you
Yes.
without even doing anything, without even seeing the
Let
comment,
'em know.
right?
Let me tell you a
Yeah.
new one I found.
Mm.
One of my clients, she hit me up in whatever that other one, not WhatsApp, but there's another one.
Mm.
But she sent me a message talking about, I found this very helpful. And she sent me a thing, and it was about a dude that was talking about how to get emails from Facebook groups. Like how
Mhm.
you can do this thing and whatever you manipulate to get the people in the group getting their email addresses.
Mhm.
I didn't even respond to her. But I'm like, sweetheart, that's why people end up sending spam and end up in spam folders. You did not
Yeah.
ask for permission to get these people addresses,
Mhm.
and this is not okay.
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna
Exactly.
have to go back and tell her because I don't want her doing that shit. But it just caught me so off guard that really you found this helpful? You join in groups and you're getting people's addresses that you don't even know if you want them as clients.
Exactly. But I mean, like, but there are people like that, right? There are people that who watch those email and then they would send cold email, and
Yeah.
we
Right.
actually do see that with a lot of marketing agency, like especially like my marketing agency, and they would get all of those cold email without even introducing. They would send out
Yeah.
promotions, right?
Yeah.
And that does not work at all because used to get I wouldn't even know, like, how many hundreds of emails per day where, each different company would trying to sell you something. And I'm like, yeah. And that's why when I started my digital, I never send out an email yet. They were, cold email.
Mhm.
One of my friends did it. And it didn't, it does work in terms of like opening rate, and it does get them lead. Um, but at the end of the day, you have to do a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
And for
You have
me,
to know
I
who you're
think for
sending it to.
people, exactly, for me to work with you, I gotta, I mean, thank God I'm at that place where if I want to work with somebody, right, I have to like you, right?
Yes.
It's gotta be,
Yes.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but if I look at from the, different point of view where you are struggling, if you are in the beginning and you want the client, you do those things, right? And I can relate to that because again, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to sell you something. So
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, right? But I can relate even though I don't like that stuff either.
Yeah. And now I'm not a big fan of automation, and I only recently realized this.
Mhm.
Um, well, I already know because I was lazy about setting some shit up. That's a different type of I don't like it.
Yeah.
But there is a level um of automation where I felt like when I looked at this particular app that someone suggested to me, I have no control. So
Mhm.
certain automations that I just don't sit well with. There are
Mhm.
some other automations that I do want that aren't so personal because I'm very personal. And part of that is why I keep my shit small and tight like I do. I'm not trying to do the one to many. I want to
Mhm.
do the one to few or one to one. That's why my
Mhm.
prices are what they are. I'm trading time for money.
Mhm.
And so it's with that understanding because I'm very hands on. I'm the person that's done with you, not for you. So we have to go in this game together. That's very personal.
Mhm.
I don't want to send you out a bunch of bullshit emails or some automated bullshit. Oh, how's your day? I really don't give a fuck right now, especially at 5 o'clock in the morning. So what I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? There's just certain levels of automation that should not be for me.
Right.
And it's in for what I charge, I don't mind trading time for money. Sweetie,
Mhm.
because trust and believe, you gotta pay.
Yeah.
Versus if I my behind the scenes stuff that I want to go out quarterly or monthly or something, that's totally different. Because
Mhm.
that's not a personal thing. This like this some shit you need to know.
Mhm.
You're at this stage of the game, this is what you need to know. So it's for you, like I said, taking on that hero persona of when you walk into the room and you're just talking to that one person. Yes, everybody else in the room is listening and you can make eye contact with all of them, but you know who's really listening, and that's who it's really for. So it's with the understanding when you're talking about branding, sweetie, we know branding is about leaving a mark. What mark are you leaving? And that shit is painful sometimes. That's what when you burn some shit into an animal, that was some painful shit. But then you start burning stuff into a box because you wanted to be able to identify your shit. So when you're out here branding, you want to be able to mark the folks that are listening to you because they're the ones that's hollering the loudest. Go higher, show. Go higher.
Oh man. I'm having way too much good time.
And I said, we gotta wrap this shit up. We going over, but that's okay. So, is there any last questions or anything you want to say before we check out? And I'll let you give your closing.
um So, first of all, thank you so much. I learned a lot today. I know, I get nervous and stuff. So, when I'm talking, whatever I'm saying in my head, it doesn't come out. All
Mhm.
right. So, first of all, if anybody's hearing that, sorry. And then, thank you so much for, helping me because it helped me think from different point of view and really think about what I need to do to stand out. Because right now I feel like I am, even though I'm standing out a little bit from the different companies, and my offer is there, I'm not communicating right. And that's what I learned here is, one of the thing I need to do on paper, like in terms of website, is communicate right and speak to that one person that I really want to go after. And so Thank you so much again. That's
Oh,
all I wanted to say.
okay. Well, sweetie, tell him where to find you and how to find you because he is the digital hero. Come on, y'all.
Yeah. So you can find me on my website, of course, digitalmarkethero.com, or you can find me on my new page, which is Shoaib at Shoaib.zk. That's the one I would love you guys to follow rather than my main page, which is Digital Market Hero on Instagram.
And Shoaib is Shoaib. Just so
The
y'all know.
.zk. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And do you I was gonna ask you something, but let's skip that.
Mhm.
Anyway, sweetie, I so appreciate you being a house guest today. I truly, truly do. And this was so much fun because, like I said, I can talk restaurant. I love the restaurant industry. Just does not love me back because they don't want to pay me what I said. And
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. But keep doing it for them because the restaurant industry does need to change. I think there are a lot more people out there trying to change the toxic atmosphere, but because so many people have been burned, nobody's checking
Yeah.
for it. It is a
Yeah.
wonderful industry to excuse me, it's a wonderful industry to work in. Um, I think one of the other things that after this is what crossed my mind earlier that making sure that you're going after restaurant owners that are not micromanagers or control freaks.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. That's another thing that you can talk about. If you want to scale your business, if you want to use marketing to scale your business, sweetie, you can't be a control freak.
Mhm.
Because automation, you have to relinquish some control. In order to
Yeah.
scale, you have to relinquish some control. So that's something else that you can talk about. That came to me earlier, but it went out of my head. But I want to come back to that. So anyway, I love you and I appreciate you being on here. And y'all, this is gonna be a wrap for today. So with that, y'all know we gotta do 5. Bullshit happens. So suck it up. 4, your voice is important. So speak up. 3, you make the world a more beautiful place. So show up. And 2, life is good. So buck up. 1, I love you and ain't a damn thing you can do about it. So shut the fuck up. Peace and hair grease, y'all.
All right, brand babies. We appreciate you stopping by because we know you got shit to do. Just remember to subscribe on your way out and bring a friend next time. Now, in the meantime and in between time, stay connected with GCB on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at GC Brand Mother. You can also follow Brandma's House on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. The links are in the description. So until next time, brand like it's nobody's business.